morning. It's Tuesday, May 19th, and pretty soon we'll be opening up the country. We've started already, but Memorial Day weekend is coming up, and that's going to be like the big opening. 48 states are lined up to open it to some degree at that point. So my question is, what's the plan? And I'm not talking about wearing a mask or social distancing or washing your hands for 20 seconds. I'm talking about the plan, the master plan. That plan should include what's going to happen in business. How are we going to get people to work? What's the transportation system going to be like? Is everybody going to get in their car and drive to work? Are we going to change work schedules? What are we really going to do to open this country up safely? So I ask you, what's the plan? And I'll tell you, I had a plan many years ago. When we bought the house on Long Island, I bought it because I got a job on Long Island. And I got a job on Long Island because I was tired of riding the subway to work. And actually, the job on Long Island was the second job that I got where I didn't have to ride public transportation. So that was my plan. And now let's discuss what some parts of this other plan could be. Okay, let's start with transportation. In my humble opinion, transportation may be the most important part of this plan. What's the point of redesigning offices and everything like that if you can't get the people to work safely? Getting people back to work safely will require some great thoughts, some ingenuity, and some responsible action. Solving this equation is not rocket science. It's more like common sense and simple math. We will still need social distancing. We will need to create new work schedules that limit the number of people who use public transportation at any given time, and also limit the number of people in offices at any given time. And varying work schedules will ease the morning rush hour. Work schedules will need to be developed to figure out who really needs to be in the office and who can really work at home. This will require responsible action by the business leaders and individuals to respect social distancing and create new schedules that meet the needs of their teams and their businesses and their customers and their families. This is no simple matter. Any of you thought about this? Here's a big question. Is rush hour going to be a thing of the past? Many experts in the field of transportation have asked that we reconsider the concept of rush hour. When I started to think about this, one thing that jumped out at me was the fact that New York is a large metropolitan area, and our rush hour needs are different from other areas of the country. So when we consider rush hour, we have to consider it in many different places. So I think we should just start with the area that we're most familiar with, and that would be the New York metropolitan area. In some ways, the pandemic may actually be a blessing in disguise for those people who live and work in a crowded metropolitan area. So, in order for this to work, in order for us to change the concept of rush hour, that would require a combination of things, almost a unifying agreement between the transit agencies and the businesses in the city. It would require the modification of schedules to circumvent crowding on trains and buses, and employers with the willingness to stagger work hours to ease the crowding on public transportation. And maybe even discounting fares in certain times if people were required to come to work at, say, 4 in the morning or midnight or whatever that might be. And the discounted fares might encourage people to ride in a less crowded time. Obviously, there will be less people on the road, less people in the trains, because reports are saying that maybe as much as 40% of the workforce will be able to work from home. Maybe not every day, but often enough. So that could relieve the burden on different forms of transportation. But certainly, if you're only working a couple days a week, you might not be buying a ticket on the Long Island Railroad or on Metro North or whatever else there is. So you might take your car more often. How about some things like staggered work hours for those people that have to go to work? What if the workday actually started a little bit earlier for people? Say, people who normally got to the office, say, at 8 o'clock would now get to the office at, say, 7. And people who normally got in at 9 might get in at 10 or something like that. There could be staggered work hours. Or maybe people would do like they do in the medical profession in a lot of cases. They work 12-hour days, 7 to 7. So they're only on the road 3 days a week instead of 4 days a week. These are all possibilities. And you could buy a ticket maybe on the railroad, discounted ticket that would allow you to ride only 15 days a month instead of 22 days a month. And you could save some money there. And then what about the transportation devices themselves? Have we considered changing the configurations? I don't know that you want to make cubicles on buses or subway trains, but right now you have seats that they're close together and they're along one side of the car or the other, and in some cases, like the railroad, you can see they sit horizontally and sit across from one another, the configurations. Has anybody thought about that? Maybe you got to have smaller trains so we're not carrying that many people around. Bottom line is, I haven't heard anything about any plans. I mean, they're going to open. They're opening the beauty parlors and they're opening the nail salons and the casinos are opening and they're stressing social distancing and all of those things that we've heard for 3 or 4 months already, and wear your mask, etc., etc. But no plan. I've heard no major plan about how we're going to take care of the people and the transportation and how we're going to do that. So, to me, I'm just waiting for the big fuck up to happen one more time. And it may be serious, it may cost people lives or something, or it just may be a blip on the road. We don't know. But based upon the past experience with the relief packages and everything, I don't feel very comfortable about all of these states opening and without a plan that's sent down by the federal government and agreed to by the states, or whether I've seen any individual plans from any states. So that's the way I feel, and I need a haircut. And have a wonderful day. Bye.